We're live. Let's kick in with some music and get started. Welcome, good morning, and welcome everyone to a new episode of the Women's Empowerment Series. I have with me an incredible woman, Julia Sammann. I'm so honored and delighted to spend this morning with you today. It's wonderful. Welcome, welcome. So,
Thank you so much.
Julia is an incredible woman. She's an executive leader for many years and now an entrepreneur and helping a lot of women finding their way to become an entrepreneur and to fly on their own. And so I'm so excited. I love, as I told you before we even started, I just love meeting women that has been in the corporate world and the executive world. Somehow we understand each other. So it's really nice. So tell us about you, Julia.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here in your beautiful space for the Women Empowerment Series. As you already mentioned, my career has more or less 3 phases, and the first phase of my career was my corporate career, and that was for 2 decades my home. I worked as a marketing strategist, was a board member, and worked almost for all big global fast-moving consumer brands like
quite impressive.
Kellogg.
I think we need to give the names here. So you worked for
Yes.
what? Kellogg?
I started at Colgate. No, I actually
Colgate.
started at Mondelez. Then
Oh,
I worked
Mondelez.
for
Oh my
Colgate.
God. So all those names we know.
All the
Oh,
names you know, and most likely the products you know. So
yes.
Mondelez was my first company. Then I worked for Colgate. Then I joined Kellogg the first time, the cereal company. Then I moved
Cereals.
to Mars, which was a beautiful other global player, or still is, of course, a global player. And then I moved back because Kellogg said, "Can you please come back? We are looking for a new board
Oh,
member."
really? So you left and
Yeah.
came back to them because so you're
Mhm.
really good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, and my passion was always marketing, strategic marketing. So I was responsible for the Northern European market, the team, the European growth agenda, and then of course closely connected to my global colleagues and team members, which was beautiful. Yeah.
So you were in the headquarters of these big brands, right? Where is
I
that?
was in the headquarter of Northern Europe, and that was based actually in Hamburg. Although there were 20 plus countries involved in that headquarter, but that was my place. Yeah.
That's impressive. Did you always knew when you were young that you're gonna work for big names that everybody knows, or it just came about?
Yes, it was for me. So first of all, I wanted to become a professional horse rider, and then fortunately my
we had
parents.
Nadia also in this Women Empowerment Series.
Yeah, I know.
And she was
Nadia's
talking
so
about,
right.
so you too. So we kind of really attract a lot of horse lovers into this platform.
Exactly. Fortunately, my parents, as well as my horse trainer at that moment, said, Julia, there might be something better and bigger for you. And then it was quite obvious for me at a young age what I want to study. So I wanted to study marketing and business. So I have my diploma in business economics. That was my path. And then really my first internship was already at Mondelez. I was so focused working in FMCG because, and this
FMCG,
is still what
we're going to say what it is. It's a
fast-moving consumer goods. So every
and
product
that's
you
like
find.
goods that it's because it sells a lot or it changes a lot. Why is it
Yes.
fast moving? What's the fast moving for?
Because it started from the understanding these are the products you find in stores on shelf. Yeah.
Yes.
And these are the products that rotate very fast and you buy often and you have on your shopping list maybe once a week or so. That's why they are called fast-moving consumer goods, different to a car, which you don't buy that often unless you are.
Unless you are, I don't know who, right?
There will be some, but the rotation of those products in your household is very fast. That's why it's called fast-moving.
So when it's marketing, it means like it's as fast as the product is moving. So that must have been a hard life you had, Julia.
Yeah, we always make jokes because if you compare the physical product innovation pipeline to a digital product innovation pipelines, we were slow moving, if we are honest. But overall, No, in comparison to digital brands,
In
they always
comparison to
laugh.
digital product here, but we're talking 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's right. And of course, we worked on high speed. We had a full innovation pipeline, and I was not only responsible for innovation development, but then of course as well for marketing plan development. What is the right positioning, the campaign? How do we want to grow our business across Europe and the various markets? How do we bring in new and healthier products to our pipeline? This was a super job, and I love it. I love being busy, to be honest. So, and I love working with teams. And the beauty of that job overall is you find your results on shelf. You can bring your mother in store and say, Mom, this is what I developed with my team. And can
Really?
you buy it
That's
and can you see it?
wonderful.
And that's the beauty of that work. And I
So what
never
is that
questioned
product
that.
that you loved? Like, what was the best one? If you look back, what was the story that you're like, this was really one of my
There are
favorites?
two, there's actually three products I absolutely loved. And they all, out of the last ones, I want to say there are many innovations I loved. The first big one is when we repositioned the Kellogg Master brand, which is such a beautiful and strong brand. And Kellogg had in the past an innovation and communication strategy where they only focused on single brands. Like
Mhm.
many women know Special K as an example, that is a single brand support.
Uh-huh.
And then we put it all under the roof of the strong umbrella brand Kellogg. That was one of the most wonderful innovation programs and communication programs I joined, and that traveled around the globe. That was
Yeah,
beautiful because
I know.
Kellogg worldwide embraced that approach.
Yeah.
And then the second one of my past most preferred innovation programs that traveled globally was the invention of a muesli product, a healthier
Muesli,
alternative
yes.
to
Yes.
sugar-coated
Yeah.
cereals.
I think
And
I
that's
think my favorite one for Kellogg's before I finish the other one is the one when they had this K, the fitness thing. I think the
yeah,
K
this
is the
is Special K, exactly. A
yeah,
beautiful
that was a
female
good
brand
one.
as well. Yeah. And
Yes.
these are, in my memory, one of the most impactful initiatives. And then there were, of course, so many other beautiful innovations and successful innovations we brought to the markets before.
I love
And
that.
yeah,
You know what I love about that, Julia, is the way you talk about these products. You are, I mean, it obviously you were so connected, so in love with your work at that time, and I just love that about it. I mean, it's just so nice. And
yeah.
so, mhm,
Yeah, I just wanted to say this is really a beautiful teamwork. So many people working hand in hand to
yeah,
make these innovations and bring these innovations to life. And therefore, it comes with a lot of pride in the organization when you have a winning or you are able to launch a winning innovation or communication piece that travels around the globe. That's
it is.
beautiful.
So I want to welcome everyone joining us. Hello, we have Rabat in the house, Algiers. We have different places from the globe with us, and we have a beautiful conversation with Julia Sammann, an incredible high-level executive that is today an entrepreneur, helping women to become an entrepreneur. So, what is it that made you leave that super glamorous high-level job? How can you leave something like this? Actually,
This was actually one of the most beautiful gifts I've ever received. I was
really?
I was 42
Uh-huh.
and became a mother and gave birth to a little curly girl.
Oh my God,
And
that's
as
so
I
it's
was
your
already,
daughter that triggered it.
yes, and
Mm.
not only the fact that I became a mom, but the fact that I was 42 as well, and it felt to me like a once in a lifetime chance.
Yeah, it's like a
And I
miracle.
wanted to, and I wanted to see her grow up. I wanted to collect all the memories with her and not
Mhm.
receive any WhatsApp messages from a nanny talking,
Mm.
sending me the
You
moments
wanted to be there fully.
I wanted to be there. And that was the moment where I said, and I had no clue what to do next, I must say. I just
Mm.
went on parental leave and I thought and said, I'm gonna be back in 1 year.
So you did take 1 year because that's quite bold, right?
I
Because we usually have
I
3 months, you can extend it to 6 months, but taking a year, it's like I'm leaving my job, hoping
mhm.
that I'm coming back and finding it eventually, yeah?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
already taking a risk.
And
Yeah.
after 1 year, I came back and said, I will give me 2 years. I need more time. And then I
Really?
still was up and I
So you took
formed in
2
that.
more years, so you took like 3 years off your job.
It's 3 years in total, but in the meantime, already I spent a lot of energy and thought what to do next,
Mm.
because I was already birthing this wish. I want to be time. I want to have time freedom. I want to have all the flexibility. I want to have location freedom. And my corporate job, and I loved it, I felt 24/7 responsible for doing it. It might be the case that on Monday I receive an invitation to be, I don't know, in a country on Thursday.
Yeah.
Want to
And
work
you had
like
to
this
go.
anymore?
You had to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
But
because I want to do, yeah, be successful in my career as well, and I
sure,
knew with that I
you can.
couldn't serve the corporate world in the
Mm.
right way. Yeah, because
So
they at
I
that
have a
time,
question though for you. When
yeah,
you spent, okay, say 1 year, then you said 3 years, right, at home with the baby. The baby is not a baby anymore at 3 years. You can put her in kindergarten, right?
yeah,
What would you do? Don't you feel little lonely or bored or like missing some of the corporate life? Didn't you have that
I
feeling?
did, I did, and I had a lot of sadness
Yeah,
inside that this corporate professional side of
you're missing it. Yes.
Julia
Yeah,
is dying in a
I
certain
know.
way, and it took me quite a long time to
Hmm.
reinvent myself and reinvent a new professional identity
Yeah,
and grow into an entrepreneur role. That wasn't an easy shift, I must
of
say,
course not.
because you were so acknowledged and everyone knew how good you are and
Yeah.
you had all the accolades.
Yeah,
It
and
was always
validation continuously, right?
yeah,
Because,
yes.
yeah.
And
And it's like
headhunters
almost you're
calling
in a
you.
setup that is already there. So you had everything already made up for you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Nonetheless, I was so sure that this is my path. And there were times, of course, where I struggled to say, if a headhunter now is calling and inviting me to a job, do I want to make it happen? And sometimes I went on headhunter
Oh, you
calls.
did?
This,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
So
it
you did,
was that
yeah. But you could have left, gone back to your own job, or that's not something you wanted. It was like, that's it. You turned the page.
this job, yeah, I knew I had to turn the page. And then one day I made the decision because I jumped out of one other headhunter conversation where I said, Julia, there's no full body yes for this career anymore. You know
Mm,
that this career
love that.
model, it's broken. This work model is not working for you anymore. The life you
You've
desire is
changed. Like
different.
something in you have changed, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
this was a very pivotal moment where I actually said, so now I'm gonna become an entrepreneur. I'm gonna run my own business. I'm gonna figure out what my unique wisdom
Oh, yeah.
is and who needs to, or with whom I can help with that outside the corporate world,
Yeah.
and started that journey. And that helped me really so much to create my new professional identity, figure out what is an aligned business model that serves the
Mhm.
life that I desire. How
Yeah.
can I run a simple business and how can I run a profitable business? And my own journey is what I bring to my clients, helping them achieving the same. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, because it takes so much courage to believe in yourself so much that you can actually
Yeah.
carry on without needing to go back to it is kind of security, right? There is a safety net in that corporate environment.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, absolutely. And this is one big part no one should ignore, because if you work in the corporate world, you have a lot of outside structures that
Mm.
hold you, keep
Yes.
you, support you. And the moment you form the decision to become an entrepreneur, you need to build those structures inside yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the painful part, because there's a
Hard.
lot of uncertainty you have to hold. There's a lot of unbecoming that needs to happen. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then you need to figure out who you really are. Yeah. Not by your title, but who
Yeah.
are you and what can you
Yes.
bring to the world and what is a gift to the world. And this is the unsexy work, I would say. And at the same time, it's the most empowering work. If you have someone supporting you like you do in your programs as well,
Yes. Yeah.
then women fly. It's just
Women
together
fly.
we rise
Absolutely.
on this. Mhm.
Absolutely. And this is what I love. That's why we're so aligned. It's because the moment you start trusting yourself, just tiny,
Yes.
mini, just like little bit, and help it and let it grow. It's like you almost
Yeah.
feed it so that you nurture it, you water it so that it grows. Then you become unstoppable, really.
This is so beautiful. The moment where your belief is bigger than your fear, and just a
Mm.
tiny little bit,
Just
you
tiny,
start
because it
walking.
never is.
It,
Sometimes it's like,
yeah,
now
it's
bring
just
it
an
back.
inch,
Yeah.
but walking with the fear is one of the biggest things you can really embrace on that journey. Just keep on walking, even if the steps are tiny. Keep walking, keep walking. Don't give up on your dream, and have the right people around you supporting you on that journey. Yeah.
You are incredible. So you've been now an entrepreneur for quite a few years, right? And
Yes.
what do you think that stop women from being able to fly on their own? And because the way you describe it is like it's a better life. It's you have freedom, time freedom, right? And money freedom,
Yeah.
because then you can work at your pace, right? So, but how can you make someone believe in it when it's just impossible to believe?
From my personal point of view and from my personal experience is that, and your work is a big part of that too, there's a belief system around this career shift that is holding us back.
Mm.
And these are either our beliefs or beliefs in our outside world. And that just needs work to be done in order to reprogram and shift those beliefs. And this is for me the number one fundamental piece.
Mhm.
The second fundamental piece for me is that many people or many clients of mine find themselves in careers they're not designed for, based on their wisdom, on their gifts, based on their preference to work, based on their leadership skills. Not everyone is meant to be really a leader or
No.
can work in the corporate organization framework.
Mhm.
And spending time and understanding what I'm designed for, what is the career that is really a path to success for me. And there are so many possible opportunities, and
Mhm.
understanding deep inside who I am and what can I bring to this work is
Mhm.
the next fundamental piece to enrich the belief you mentioned earlier and say, oh,
Yeah.
this is the fuel now for me
Yes.
to work
Yes.
ahead. And then the third missing piece is that women often do not know how to monetize their wisdom. So they
Mhm.
don't know what is the right business model. How can I be profitable? What are offerings I can bring to the world? Whatever offerings means, it can be a service or a product or a career type, does not matter. But what is the value I provide? And what is then the equation between what I get and what I give, so that
Mhm.
this works to the life I want to
Mhm.
live.
Mm.
And then, from my point of view, the fourth piece is that women sometimes have a tendency to make things overly complex,
Mhm.
and the courage to run a very, very simple, minimalistic career type and business model, but
Mhm.
generating a lot of impact and profit is the fourth lever based on my experience. And
I
if
love
you
that.
bring those together, there's nothing else waiting on the other side than a thriving business or career that perfectly aligns to the life you desire.
Nothing is going to stop you after that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So I have a question. In your description of the work you do, you obviously target women around 40 and 50 or 45.
yeah.
Why do you think that age frame? What is it for? Is it only that moment that women start to say, what is it that I want really? Reconnect with themselves? What do you think happens then, and
My,
not when we are 20 and 30?
yeah, I'm super happy to share my story, and maybe
Okay.
some women can relate.
Mhm.
If you ask anyone who knows me, either in my private life or in my professional life, everyone would say, Julia is such a powerhouse. She has so much energy. She can achieve so many things in a very short period of time. Around 45-ish till now, I'm soon turning 50, my menopause started to kick in. And this menopausal shift had a big impact on my power.
Mm.
And a question came up as I will turn 50 and beyond. What is the career I can get old with, you know? What is now that career phase to have a beautiful life with the question in mind, will I still have the same level of power?
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I want to have an impactful, profitable business still. And this
Mm.
is for me, or was for me, another very pivotal moment in my career to rethink how I do work. Because if I'm honest, I work very much in a male-oriented working world in my corporate career. And then the first part of my entrepreneurship, I just continued with the same way of working. And this is not sustainable for me. So,
Okay, this is beautiful, but I'm going to ask you a question. You did say that we wanted to have an impact, but even through the work you did, you had an impact, right? Because your products were actually sold to millions, right? So you were impacting somehow. What
right.
can you, yeah, so what's the difference? Because everything we
Mm,
do, we can turn it into a service and feel the impact if this is what we want to
yes.
see. But there is something more than that.
Yes. There's an us part, which is more
Yeah.
us women. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the impact, the level of impact I'm feeling is very different whether the impact is of selling millions of
Mm,
cereal boxes
yes.
versus supporting women on their rise.
I love that.
And clients come to me and say, yes, I want to have a more profitable business. But what excites me and where I get goosebumps with, and when we start working together and we go very deep, the true reason the true reason why some women are here and are stuck is they wish to have a third child, but they don't know how to keep their business profitable and the
Wow.
momentum there.
And they don't
And
say
this is
that. And they don't even
they,
say that reality, that the
mm-mm.
real reason. We hide it
Yeah,
often.
yeah, we very often hide that. And then when we work together and this woman gets pregnant in our collaboration
Wow.
and designs with me a work model where she
Mm,
can have that type of impact and profit and joy and spend time with their family and children, and at the same time feel successful in her professional life. This
mm.
is the impact where I get goosebumps, and this is the impact I want to bring to the world, and the reason why I wake up in the morning. I love
I
that,
love that.
helping women on the rise and sharing all my wisdom
I
from
love
all
that.
facets of my life. Yeah,
When did you start feeling that mission or that drive to really help women better their life?
it it I felt it so much in my own struggles when I
Mm,
wanted to leave the corporate career, where I
yes.
said, oh, this was so painful for me. It
Mm,
was painful for me for my professional identity
mhm,
because that shrinks
mm.
somehow. I
Yes.
struggled a lot to figure out a new client who is interested in what I have to offer, if not the corporate world. And
Yes.
this struggle became a motivation because the more I talked about it, the more women I met who said, I feel the same. I have no idea. I'm still stuck in that career. And then something ugly happens in the corporate world. If the corporate world realizes that you are not full on, they
Mhm.
put you on a parking lot, and your career path, so to say, stays
Mm,
flat.
that's true.
Promotions do not come
You're
as
like
often. And
just put in, yeah, to put to the side. And that's
yeah,
awful
she's a
because that
mama.
puts you more. Yes.
Yeah, she's a mama, or even no one talks about it. Women in menopause, yeah,
Ah,
they're not
that's
as
true. You
powerful
didn't
in men.
mention.
Yeah, these are the old ones,
Really, you think that
and
labels today exist? I mean, exist. They exist. It's just like, do we even talk about them? Is it? Can
we.
we talk about them? Never.
So I've done a little bit of research, and
Yeah.
the US is way more advanced in those areas, getting the facts together. In reality, 10% of all female professionals around 50
Hmm.
quit their careers without saying nothing. And how much cost is that for an organization if this woman leaves because she has no space talking about it?
About her
Then
situation. Mm.
then you have, of course, a performance dip because women who can't sleep anymore and have a low energy level and feel anxiety because of their hormonal shifts and have hot flushes and feel ashamed to show up in meetings because they sweat. I don't know. There's a performance dip, and there's therefore this is a cost to an employer. Yeah,
Mm,
because the
mm.
performance isn't there anymore. No one talks about it. How can we support women at that age, yeah, to remain successful in their careers because
Yes.
they want to work and they want to be successful and they want to create an impact, but the way they work maybe needs to change a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And that's like, to avoid all of that, might as well not have need to be in environment like this. So what you're doing is really creating a new type of corporation, isn't it? Because as an entrepreneur, you are building your own corporation, right?
Yeah,
Even if it's smaller scale, but it's still a new
yeah,
style. And I
it
think
is.
that's what we need to talk more of, is to create a more with a comparison with more empathy towards some realities that are never
Yes.
spoken. Yeah.
Yes, and have a very careful look in those areas where we are overdoing, overgiving, undercharging, overworking, being very cautious.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those areas of our life are the ones where we can have a little
Yeah,
look at to see and support, especially each woman on the journey. Together we rise. It's simply like this, helping
absolutely.
hands
I love that.
everywhere.
It is together we rise. It is. And I
Mm.
think you're such a beautiful role model for that, an example.
Mm.
And, I think having the courage and having the patience to discover who you are and discover what you want to do and go for it. And it's not
Yeah.
something that happened right away. I mean, entrepreneur, it's not like it's going to be
Mm.
good after 6 months. It's not. It takes longer.
Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the
Enjoy the
ride.
ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be a roller coaster. Enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But do you feel like you've arrived to what you wanted to create, Julia?
Yes. So
You
it
do?
is evolution and growth ongoing, and my
Mhm.
mind and my heart never stops, and I
Mhm.
continually produce ideas. But my identity arrived in being an entrepreneur. I
I
don't
love
see myself going back. I wouldn't serve the corporate world in the way the corporate world should be served,
that.
but
Mhm.
there are so many other women outside I can much better help to
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
craft a business or work model that supports the life that I desire to live. Yeah.
But you know what's nice about the corporate world we've been talking about is that even themselves are today launching initiative to help small
Yeah.
businesses and small women. And I think we need all of that to create this
Yeah.
align and this harmonious ecosystem around that. And it's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, okay, it's good to learn from them, contribute, and it's also good to fly on your own so that you can help more and you can just be an
Yeah.
example for others that are dreaming to do that. But they need a little push, and that's what you
Yeah.
give. I
Thank you
love
so
that.
much.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you so
being
much.
with me. Congratulations for all the amazing things, and thank you for being with us, watching us directly or in replay. I left the contact for Julia if you want to know more about the amazing work she does in helping women.
Thank-
Do you focus a lot on branding, or is it just something that comes along? Because from your background, you're obviously the word expert on that. So is it something that you still like to do, or is it just something that you add in your coaching?
This is something that I add. So my one of my most preferred gifts is craft work models and business models to reinvent careers and businesses.
Okay.
And based on that one, we design the business and then the marketing piece kicks in, which
Excellent.
comes around what is the voice I want to bring to the world? What is my starting with the positioning? What is my offerings? Or what are my offerings? What's the personal branding? This piece then comes on top. Yeah.
Well, this is
And how
amazing.
to sell.
Thank you so much for being with me today and
Thank you.
with us. It has been delightful. You're such an incredible woman. And I congratulate you for everything, for being a mom, for being such a beautiful mom that gives time to her daughter. I think you're an inspiration for that, and
Yeah.
flying as an entrepreneur and helping many women do the same. So well done.
Thank you so much for having me and for this beautiful conversation. Thank you,
Thank you
Hynd.
so much. Thank you everyone for being with us. Bye bye. And I
Mhm.
see you soon. Bye.